It's over. It's over. It's never been more over. Time of death, 4:26 p.m., Thursday, September 25th, 2025. No skis tonight, no screaming, not even a live from Studio K, even though we are, in fact, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's not their fault this loss happened. This one's on Torey Lovullo. Welcome in to the PHNX Dbacks podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as Circle K, according to one Trajan Wealth, Torey Lovullo himself. But welcome in to the show. Thanks for being here. I needed somebody to commiserate with. Not only was traffic awful getting over here from the ballpark, but it just felt like it was salt in the open wound of the Diamondbacks' 8-0 loss in the series finale to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Make sure to go download that Bet365 app. Use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. You'll get yourself some bonus bets for following a few easy steps. Over at Game Time, make sure to use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off their already low last-minute ticket deals. Welcome in, guys. Of course, this one absolutely sucks, and this is definitely the end of the Diamondbacks season. At this point, they absolutely would need a miracle for them to make the postseason, and they are all but statistically eliminated from postseason. It's going to take a whole lot of things to happen in order for this team to do it after today's loss. And it doesn't help that it was against the Dodgers, that the Dodgers are the ones that essentially ended the Diamondbacks' postseason hopes. I am not alone. I'm not the only angry person in Studio K. I am here with the one, the only Damon Dog on the ones and twos. And Damon Dog.
I'm past anger, Derek.
Yeah,
past anger.
Anger doesn't even begin to describe it.
Depression.
All the feelings.
Yeah, all the feelings is right. This was a tough one, man. Yeah. This was a tough one. I think, last night you were telling me to calm down, Derek, and I don't want to take it back to last night and be like, oh, Damon, you're so right, even though, typically.
You would never do that.
No.
You never take victory laps on things you were correct
about.
But
last night when it got announced that Nabil Crismatt was going to be starting today, Zach Gallen was going to be pushed back. Jalen Beeks was going to be starting. Nabil Crismatt was going to be getting the bulk of the work as the second pitcher, and that Zach Gallen was going to be pushed back. That was the season for me, Derek.
Yeah.
Like it was the combo of that plus the loss last night where I was like, you can't afford to lose anymore. And there's about, in my opinion, Yamamoto versus Jalen Beeks and Nabil Crismatt. You have a very, very unlikely chance of actually winning that baseball game. I think it's a pretty shocking decision unless there was something that went into it further.
And there's still there was something that went into it a little further, and we actually did get an explanation on that prior to the game. This is what Tory had to say about the reason why they skipped Zach Gallen's start and turned to this bullpen game.
Yeah, I think Zach could use the extra day of rest. That was a big piece of the puzzle. Same with Erod, and we felt like we were going to need 1 day of a bullpen outing to pick up the slack, and it was either going to be tomorrow or today. And we just thought today would be the best opportunity for us to win a baseball game, being able to match up with the guys we have against their team.
Well, Tory did bring up that Zach had been sick the last 2 outings that he pitched, and I imagine that went into this decision. It still makes absolutely zero sense why this team made the decision, why the front office, whoever made the decision, I feel like it was Tory.
Did Zach pitch well when he was sick?
He did. He did. We tweeted out the Michael Jordan flu game picture in regards to him, and that's also because he's a huge North Carolina fan.
I just don't get it, man, because it's like we don't have the luxury of being like, hey, Zach Gallen, I think, maybe you could go, but you might need another day of rest. It's not, you don't have that at all. You need Zach Gallen to go out there and give you like a one earned run type of performance.
No more rest days, no more any of that. You have to pull out all the stops, and that had to be after last night's loss, right? After last night's loss, it's like, every game is a must win, and the next one you lose essentially eliminates you. Doesn't actually eliminate you, but essentially eliminates you. It puts you in an impossible position going into San Diego. Now, overall, the Diamondbacks' track record does not bode well for them going into that series and winning it. They would need to have won 2 out of 3. Now they essentially need to sweep the series in San Diego for them to have a chance, right? So that's not going to happen. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I am pushing all of my chips in on that not happening. And I think everybody here in the chat is probably doing the same, right? So the fact that this game wasn't taken as a critical game and they turned to a bullpen game, they made the decision not that long ago to turn to a 4-man rotation, moving Nabil Crismatt, who is now going to be suffering the blame for this and shouldn't, considering what he has done for this team this season. He gets moved to the bullpen, pitches 1 inning after having probably entirely too many days of rest, and then gets asked to essentially start in this game after Jalen Beeks goes out there in the opening inning. And honestly, everything that Tory planned fell apart the minute that the second inning started. I understand that the plan was to have Jalen Beeks go out there and pitch to both Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. That's the reason why they had him as an opener. And then the Dodgers countered by moving Teoscar Hernandez up to third in the lineup, thus pushing Freddie Freeman to the 4th inning. And not to the fourth spot, second inning in this case, because Jalen Beeks goes out there. He has a 9-pitch first inning. He gets out of it. And then Tory sends Beeks back out there for the second inning. I didn't like that move. I understood the move. I understood that Beeks was there to pitch to Ohtani and Freeman. I just didn't like the up down for Jalen Beeks. And of course, that instantly results in Jalen Beeks giving up a solo home run to Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers' first run. Now, with the way that the offense performed today, which we will get to, it doesn't really matter what happened the rest of the game because they did nothing. They did nothing. They had 1 inning where they basically had something going, and, it fell apart because Jake McCarthy kind of made a base running error, and they weren't able to put together any kind of, hit to get some of those runs in scoring position in. But in this case, that 1 home run given up by Jalen Beeks was enough. Of course, it did not work out. He had an inning and pitched. He gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 1 strikeout. Now, before we talk about Nabil Crismatt, let's talk about this comment from Torey Lovullo prior to the game. This is what Tory had to say about Nabil Crismatt and what the pitch count was going to be, how long he was planning on leaving Crismatt out there for.
That's a good question. We were just arguing about that in my office. I don't know that answer. So we're going to read and react the same way we always do. It's going to be on him. If he's out there and he's effective, we're going to stay with him. If he starts to wobble a little bit, we have no margin for error. Zip. We got to move fast. So that'll be our mindset.
Wobble a little bit. Yeah. Well, it did happen fast. There wasn't a lot of time between the time this game went from 4-0 to 7-0 really quickly. But it did feel at one point like, regardless of what was happening out there, Tory's mindset had changed about pivoting fast if Crismatt wobbled a little bit. He went out there throwing changeup heavy, which again is what Crismatt does. He threw it 42% of the outing. He gets a lot of ground balls. He throws a ball that, again, he's not going to strike a lot of guys out. He's just going to get a lot of outs. He did not get a lot of outs today. He also went fastball, sinker, curve. The home run to Andy Pages was a curveball at the bottom of the zone. And then, to be fair to Crismatt, the Ohtani home run was a changeup that was so insanely well below the zone that you just have to tip your cap to Ohtani for being that kind of guy. However, throwing an 82-mile-per-hour pitch to Shohei Ohtani is probably going to be ineffective unless you're changing speeds and have a complementary fastball to go along with it, which he didn't in that particular pitch, in that particular at bat to Ohtani. But he was awful today, unfortunately, on a day when the Diamondbacks needed him the most. He went out there, gave them 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 runs, 5 of which were earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. The defense behind him wasn't great and did not help out. That allowed additional runs to score. But again, this is just it was a pretty terrible overall performance here, And again, we have, I asked Torey Lovullo after the game if the lack of offense there early led to him leaving Crismatt in there longer, and this was what he had to say.
A little bit. I think after 4, you start adding things up, and I know I left him in there for another couple of 2-run home runs, right? A little bit. I felt like I needed to see a little bit more, and I was going to make a maneuver, but it happens fast. You give a team an extra out, make a bad pitch, you put them on via a walk, and they can clip you in a second. So it's, it just happened really quick between Freddie and Ohtani. Next thing you know, the game's blown out. So yeah, it probably did. We were 4 runs down, and I just want to stretch things as far as I could so I didn't have to use up an entire bullpen. It just didn't work out.
2 strikeouts today for Nabil Crismatt. Again, we do have to fire up that Circle K strikeout meter. It deserves better. Let's be honest. The Circle K strikeout meter deserves better, but at least you still walk away with free any size Polar Pop today. So with every K, you win at Circle K.
End of season, Derek. The water that's being used to crank this thing up is just it's struggling. It's struggling. There needs to be some real changes over here at Chase Field.
They're down to using my tears to power the Circle K strikeout meter, which is pretty effective at saltwater. What is going on? It's broken. Oh no! Oh, you guys broke the strikeout meter. Well. Don't forget, text strike to 31310 to start saving on fuel, food, and drinks after every D-backs home game. Well, this is it. This was the end of the line for the Diamondbacks at home, at least barring, like I said earlier, some sort of miracle. The rest of the bullpen was fine. Austin Pope made his debut today, and he was pretty good. He gave the Diamondbacks 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Taylor Rossi also ate up a bunch of innings, so they at least kept the game there, but what was there? This game was over very early, and you got to at least kind of respect the fact that so many D-backs fans stayed there until the better end. I know if I was there watching an 8-0 game, and I was in fact, I was calling Shane asking him if I could come back here and just start the show early, and he said, no, Damon's doing a show, and I was like, can I come back and take a nap? And he was like, you have to stay there, and you have to deal with this, and I did. And of course, we watched a team that has had a pretty miraculous run. A lot of things have made it so the Diamondbacks were even in the wild card race up until this point. At this point, they might not even finish the season above 500 now that they sit here at 80-79. So, I mean, I know it's not a joyful moment, but Damon, before we can't send him up the mountain anymore, can we send little Heraldo Purdomo up the mountain just one more time?
Are we actually doing this right now?
I mean, is it too joyful? You're right. Let's not. Actually,
it's supposed to put a smile on our face, Derek.
I need a smile on my face, for the love of God. Just send him up the mountain. Never again. We might never do it again. It didn't help.
We might need to seriously up the standards over here in D-backs land,
Yeah,
because I'm not sure that these back-to-back over 500 seasons are hitting the way, Derek, that maybe Mount 500 would make you think that they should hit.
We might need Mount Postseason or something to come into play here, but I still don't understand the moves here made, and now the Diamondbacks, like I said, do need a miracle. Here is what Tory had to say about needing to sweep the Padres.
We got to go play good baseball. That's it. The mindset is we backed ourselves into a corner. We know where we stand, and we got to go out and we got to fight our way out of that corner. That's it. And Padres are a good team, so I can sit here and tell you we got to sweep them. We do. I think that's kind of the mindset. We got to win every game we can, and we got 3 left.
Well, I don't know, man. I appreciate the sentiment, but I think that's going to be a very, very tough task overall here for the Diamondbacks. And I really wasn't going to play it, but just for Killer X, because I love him so much. Let's hear from Tory overall on this loss. Here was his opening statement.
Yeah, this was not a great day for us. We just never got anything going offensively. Look, got to give Yamamoto some credit. He was attacking the zone. He was pitching backwards with really good stuff, and we just never figured out that part of the puzzle. But I always tell you guys, I feel like we can score runs against anybody. So for us to walk off the field and get beat 8-0 is nothing that we had forecasted or expected. And offensively, we got to be better. That's it. You talk about margins, there is none. We're right up against it as hard and as tight as you possibly can be. And we got to get out to San Diego, flush this one, and make sure we're playing good baseball. Little things. We don't give good teams extra outs. You're gonna run into some problems, and that's what we did today. We made some mistakes on the mound, and it just didn't go the way we wanted to. They scored 4 runs 2 times. That's the difference in the game. We got to continue to pound away with our stuff. We got to pound away at finishing off hitters. We just couldn't get that done today. So, this is frustrating. It's frustrating today. It's been frustrating before. We've been able to go out and somehow, some way, play a good game the following day, and that's what my standard and expectation will be.
Well, Damon, I guess I wanted to go to you on this. Obviously, I understand an 8-0, 8-0 game impacting the offense, right? Like, it's much harder for you to even think you have a chance of coming back when the deficit is this large. But it's also hard to say that you could really see the Diamondbacks getting anything going offensively against Yamamoto. So I don't know. Like I said, it felt like with the way that they were not producing at the plate, a 2-run lead, a 4-run lead, whatever lead the Dodgers had was enough. We also saw this team just come back against this bullpen a couple of nights in a row. So I don't really know how to feel about that.
I don't know how to feel really about any of this, to be honest. I mean, I think last night I was a lot more. I know everybody was so mad at Tory. Everybody was like, what an egregious decision to, bunt Purdomo.
Yes.
And I while I don't agree with it, I'm also not like incensed by it.
No,
I kind of get it.
Because logically, no matter who's at the plate, unless the guy can't bunt, that's the move to make. If you have a lead in the bottom of extra innings and all you need to do is score that ghost runner, the automatic conclusion is that you bunt them over. Right.
Well, I don't want to turn this into like justifying that decision because people are going to get upset with
I'm not justifying
what I was going
the decision.
to say.
I'm just saying, though, like, that's the problem.
All I was going to say was that this decision to not start Zach Gallen, which seemingly based off that response, it was a decision that was made when there was a choice of starting Zach Gallen tonight. That's unacceptable.
Right.
That's unacceptable.
Right.
With this situation, I've been all for the here we go. It's one game here or there in, March, whatever, in
Sure.
April. How could you defend this?
Right.
How could you sit here and say that it's okay to not start on paper the pitcher who has the best stuff in your entire rotation when your season is on the freaking line, man?
Yeah.
And it's a situation like this where I'm sitting up here pissed I can't cuss.
Yeah.
I just want to say nasty, bad words all the time.
I do too. I want to say all of the bad words. And I was reprimanded by somebody in the chat for even saying the bad words I can say. So I don't know what I can say. I don't know what I want to say. I am kind of speechless about this loss. I sat there for a very long time on the final day at Chase Field, and I just watched this team get their ass handed to them. And that is a curse word I can say. And it was pathetic. You know what I mean? It was such a abysmal end to what was slowly becoming a resilient season, a season about a bunch of young guys coming together, playing selflessly, and overcoming the odds to make it to the postseason. Let's not get it twisted. The Diamondbacks should never have even been in this position, and the only reason they are is because the Mets are an absolute abysmal. They're a failure. And I, at this point, hope that if the Diamondbacks don't make it into the wild card, that one of the other teams do. And the team that I want to make it into the wild card, you guessed it, the Miami Marlins. That's the team I want because they are going to come up from behind and skunk everybody. No, I'm joking. I don't care which one of these losers makes it into the final wild card spot. But the only reason why any of these teams are in the race is because the Mets absolutely blew it, and now they have to win a very tough series themselves in order for them to maintain their spot in the playoff picture. And at the very least, the Diamondbacks didn't collapse like that, and at the very least, the Diamondbacks don't have the Mets payroll to be collapsing at this point of the season. But this is copium, by the way, Killer X. And I didn't spam you I didn't ban you yesterday for saying stuff about Tory. I banned you for spamming the chat. You were annoying, and I wanted to get rid of you. I wanted your words out of my face. That's the truth. And now you're back, and I'm happy you're back. You are a good sport, and I will give you that. But we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of this break, we are going to talk about the lack of offense, and again, if any of this really mattered with the bats being as cold as they were. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, I should be throwing shade right now because this seems like a great transition to throwing shade. But I will tell you about Shady Rays and their amazing sunglasses. They are my favorite sunglasses, and they make some classic frames. They make some very stylish frames. They'll fit your face. They'll make you look good. And they have some crystal clear optics to go along with those frames. And of course, they have a bunch of different styles to choose from, hundreds of different combinations, including their color rush lenses that make life look more beautiful. And on a day like this, I think all of us Dbacks fans could use that. But they also have the craziest lost and broken replacement plan in all of eyewear. Well, they will get you out a new pair of sunglasses if you sit on yours, if you run them over with your car, or if you just simply lose them like I do all the time. They got your back long after your purchase, so do not miss out on the amazing variety that Shady Rays has to offer and their amazing lost and broken replacement plan. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right. Well, also Access Auto wants to help you save money on your auto insurance. And for more than 15 years, that's exactly what they've been doing right here in the Valley. Access Insurance Agency of Arizona has provided affordable and reliable car insurance to drivers in the Phoenix metro area. By partnering with over 20 insurance carriers, they make it easy for you to compare rates and find the best policy for your budget. And again, that's an exhaustive process that sometimes we don't all want to do. Let Access Auto do it for you. As a dedicated part of the local community, Access Auto helps Arizona drivers get insured by offering flexible coverage options and accepting various forms of IDs, driving histories, and license types. So check out Access Auto if you are in need of auto insurance today. They are trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. All statements are subject to terms, exclusions, and conditions of the applicable policy. In all instances, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to individual policyholders meeting underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. All right, Damon. Well, for the third straight game in a row, the Diamondbacks got absolutely skunked by the Dodgers offense, or starting pitching, excuse me. They were dominated today. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was as advertised in 18 innings in these 3 games. Dodger starting pitchers have allowed 1 earned run. That was in yesterday's game by Blake Snell. Yamamoto today went 6 innings. He allowed just 4 hits to the Diamondbacks, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He reached his 200th strikeout of the season. Woo, big deal. Dodgers clinched the NL West on our field. Woo, big deal. I will say this.
I will say this, Derek, before you say your thing. Screw Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred for deciding, hey, let's make the Dodgers and give them the Diamondbacks on the road for their second to last series of the season.
They were trying to instigate something with that, weren't they? They absolutely were trying to instigate. They knew what was going to happen. Yeah. You know what? I give credit where credit is due. I was with some of the Dodger media members in the elevator after the game as we were going down to the clubhouses. And our guy Fabian from The Athletic, he's great. He basically was disregarding the idea that the Dodgers would even celebrate that big overall. And he definitely said that they had more class than to go jump into the pool, which was an interesting way for even somebody that covers the Dodgers to say that in regards to what happened in the past. And again, no police officers on horses this time, no armed security guards, just, I guess, mutual respect from division rivals. And they celebrated in the clubhouse and kept it there. Maybe I'm wrong. By the time this airs, this will be a freezing cold take, and we'll hear about Mookie Betts doing cannonballs into our spa. But overall, this was a terrible way for the season to go out, especially for the Diamondbacks offense to not really muster up much of a fight. Even if this was held close, even if Jalen, Beeks, and Nabil Crismatt did their job, the only time the Diamondbacks got anything going was in the third inning against Yamamoto. They had their best chance of scoring off of him of the day. Tawa walked to lead off the inning, and then Jake McCarthy grounds into a fielder's choice with one out. Purdomo singled, and then Cattell would hit basically a Texas leaguer that drops into the left field. It was missed. The catch was missed. And all three men would have been safe, but Jake McCarthy kind of got hung up in no man's land in between second and third base. And he
are we ready to, Derek?
Out the out.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I was almost waiting for this. So, go ahead.
Are we ready to admit what I said earlier in the season? And I believe we had Danielle on the show when it happened, and she didn't want to hear what I had to say in terms of it. And I think in part because there's some personal relationships that are going on there. She likes Jake. But I said I think Jake is an extremely low IQ baseball player. Whether it's defense, whether it's base running, I don't care about his athleticism. I think he makes mental mistakes constantly that are debilitating to this team. Yeah. Even his defense, you think he should be much better than he is. He takes bad routes to the ball. Time's up, man. Time's up. It's been enough. The inconsistency is what it is, but what we can't have is you making physical, fielding and base running errors that are going to hurt this team. It is what it is at the plate, but the other stuff you can't have.
No, you're right. And I think that the thing about Jake is exactly how you put it. I don't think you could have put it any better. It's a low baseball IQ. It's the lack of knowledge. It's not the lack of athletic ability because Jake's fast. He's at times, the at-bats that he was putting together last night and tonight are awful. And again, that's more problematic. I have no idea what he's doing at the plate. But defensively, he's also been a liability at times, making bad judgment on the ball. And again, it's not about his athleticism. It's about thinking that he can get to a ball that he shouldn't be even trying to get to, right? So I don't know, man. There's definitely something to that. Also, again, this team just overall didn't put together more than that particular inning, right? So that wasn't going to be enough for them to get back in this game regardless. And again, a lot of things had to work in their favor. But Yamamoto, with the way he was pitching today, it felt like runs were going to be a premium for the Diamondbacks. So anything over 4 runs felt like it was going to be obviously some sort of, problem for the Diamondbacks. I think that is the reason why Tory said what he said earlier. Once they were down 4-0, they decided to leave Nabil Crismatt in there for all 3 of those innings. And the reason why is because with that deficit, they were done. So why waste another bullpen arm that you're going to most likely need in San Diego? I think the problem with Torey's managing, though, in regards to this entire situation, including the call to move Zach back, has been the idea that there's still a tomorrow when there really isn't. There was, and maybe he foresaw this. Maybe like Damon said that this was going to be the game they were going to lose almost guaranteed looking at it on the 3-game schedule. That's what made last night's loss hurt so bad, and that's what made winning that game so crucial. So, and again, in this one, the Diamondbacks in that instance would have had bases loaded with 1 out. Instead, they have runners on first and second with 2 outs, and they don't do much. But they also weren't the sharpest defensively when they needed to be. Heraldo Purdomo misstepping on the bag there in the second inning, which allowed the Dodgers to load the base. Was ruled a hit, but was charged to an E6. Those runners would score. There was a fielding error on Cattell Marte in the 4th inning. It was just a sloppy game, and you could definitely tell that there was a lot of, maybe a lot of pressure on this team at this point. But we heard from Heraldo Purdomo after the game. He talked about if last night and that loss had a hangover effect.
Not really. We came here with the same energy, just we didn't do our job, a lot of mistake, a lot of mental error, like me, probably tried to be too quick on ground ball to Tawa, tried to be, I feel how the baseball, when I see the video, was off the base. So, like I said, it was a lot of mental error today, and we just gotta move on for that and be ready for tomorrow.
Well, I hope that they are ready for tomorrow, because those next 3 games will decide everything, and it already feels like it's a task too big to ask of them. But Tory disagreed, at least personally. Here's what he had to say if last night's loss had a hangover effect, and it did.
Maybe. Not gonna lie, I didn't sleep at all last night. Probably had like 3 hours of sleep. I can't imagine anybody around me slept good. But that's part of it. It's a business. You got to find a way to get it done. So I felt like as I was walking through the clubhouse, the guys were in a good spot. We just gave up those early runs, and I think that was a difference. We just couldn't get some footing, and Yamamoto started making pitches.
Purdomo today, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts. He had that error. Ketel Marte was 1 for 4 with a double. That was the Diamondbacks' only extra base hit in this game. Adrian Del Castillo, he was 1 for 4 today, and Blaze Alexander 1 for 3 with a walk. And I think this was the first time I didn't see him with a skinned knee after the game, bleeding in some way. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign.
Probably a bad sign.
Probably a bad sign, right? It means he didn't put in the effort. He didn't put in the work today. But people do very much want me to give Jesse Jr. back to them, maybe to take on the road with them to San Diego just as a final shot. And like, if the boys want to stop by here on the way to the airport or whatever, I'll gladly hand him over. I'll do whatever it takes to kind of get us more baseball games for October, even though that feels very unlikely. But here's what Heraldo Purdomo had to say about still being in the postseason hunt.
It means a lot, you know. Everybody is ahead over here, what's going on with the other team. And like I said yesterday or 2 days ago, we just got to go and win some games. That's the last 3 games of the season, and we have to give everything we have in the tank.
El Gallo in the chat says Yamamoto is just that good. And man, you are not wrong. That guy has been impossible lately. And this starting pitching staff, Ohtani, Blake Snell, and Yamamoto had a 0.50 ERA. Spoiler alert. I know we're going to get to that in the numbers here, but just very difficult for the Diamondbacks to get anything done against this pitching staff. And today they were just in too big of a hole for them to try to muster up a comeback against the bullpen like they've done the last 2 nights. But you're absolutely right. And this is what Heraldo Purdomo had to say in regards to Yamamoto, or Heraldo Purdomo had to say about Yamamoto and how good he was today.
Yamamoto is one of the best pitchers in the league, you know. That's why they pay him $325 million, you know. So we just, like I say, I feel we probably get out our plane. We don't get enough on base against him, and if he gets his say, he beat us, you know. Like I say, he's a great pitcher. He got all the credit, but we gotta get better.
I like how Derek he goes. That's why he's paid $250 million.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Just casually throwing it out there. Well, there is a good reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's funny, like, as much as, you know, I think these guys are professional athletes. They look at the people on the other side of the diamond and say, like, we can beat these guys. But they also know at the end of the day, deep down, that this Dodgers team and this Dodgers lineup is just stacked full of superstars making, you know, 9-figure type of contracts. And it's just a little bit different gravy.
Yeah. Well, I know that, of course, there's a lot of things in regards to that particular concept, right? Like the Diamondbacks, you hear Tory say it, you hear the players say it, right? They say stuff. They use certain language like those guys are just guys in a different uniform. That's just a dude over there, right? It's just a way to make it smaller and to not give yourself anxiety over the fact that you're going to go out there and pitch to Ohtani in the first inning, right? And credit where credit is due. A lot of these guys did an excellent job. I felt that Austin Pope did a great job. I felt like Brandon Garcia last night did not deserve to be put into that situation in the 11th inning coming back in. I understand at that point that it was, just a matter of not having a lot of arms in the pen, but I thought he pitched excellent. I thought he was incredible in the 10th inning. And again, this is a young man that is just getting his first major league time. Austin Pope, again, making his major league debut. These guys did a great job, but of course it was weird. It's the whole Dodger Diamondbacks thing is such a weird dynamic. I was talking with my guy Alex Weiner, who, by the way, is amazing over at 98.7. And I'm very much going to miss sitting next to him and Jack Summers like I do every week to watch baseball and just talk about baseball. But, he comes from the Los Angeles area, and he was kind of talking to me about the Dodgers fans that come out to this. It was a very well-organized effort. There were groups that put together travel packages to come here to Chase Field. The Dodgers fans, to be fair, that I saw were very complimentary and nice. And the funniest thing that I saw was how many of them were in the team shop buying specifically the City Connect gear, but buying Diamondback stuff. Like,
oh, dude, I have a story about that. I was in a unnamed sports apparel store.
Okay.
One that is far worse than our friends at Rally House, I will say.
They're all worse than Rally House.
Considering that there was a huge collection of Dodgers hats all over the place. And the worker at the store said everything's half off except for playoff baseball teams. And he said essentially just the Yankees and Dodgers hats. Then this guy, Derek, who has a Dbacks hat on, says to the worker, well, I'm a Dodgers fan. So, and I had to leave the store immediately. You know me. I immediately just packed up my things. I put the hat that I was looking at back on the shelf, and I said, okay, I can't be in the same room as someone wearing a D-backs hat who claims to be a Dodgers fan.
Like, I respect it because, like, first of all, I do think that the Diamondbacks City Connect stuff is fire, right? Now that this entire season has come and gone, we've had a chance to see all of these teams play in their City Connect jerseys and have all the merchandise come out. The Diamondbacks killed it. They just absolutely killed it with their merch. And I kind of understand the appeal of seeing the Serpientes stuff. Also, I'm kind of a guy that would go to certain other baseball parks, and if they had cool merch, I would probably want a little memento myself, even if it's opposing team gear. Jesse Friedman almost fried me online because I bought a Chicago Cubs hoodie when we were at Wrigley Field, and I'd probably deserve it. But overall, I just think that it's interesting, and he's, one thing Alex enlightened me about was like, yeah, I don't know if the Dodgers fan base will ever think of the Diamondbacks as being true competition, a true rival. They have the Padres, they have the Giants, they hate both of those teams. Neither of that buying merch would happen with either of those fan bases with Dodgers fans. So, except the ones that basically wear Padres gear when Padres are good, Dodgers when Dodgers are good, those in-betweeners. But anyway, for the most part, it's a lot more serious over there in California between those teams. But again, it was a crazy, crazy amount of people there. And it was also a very awkward moment because it was the final home game of the year, and the Diamondbacks were down 8-0, and they had Torey Lovullo and his coaching staff do a hat tip to the crowd. And I know most of you would probably relish in the fact that it was the most awkward hat tip I've ever seen because nobody wanted to applaud for this team in this moment, right?
Or this manager specifically.
And to be fair, it's a very awkward, it's a bad thing. I know they already have that kind of stuff pre-planned. I know it's the final home game of the year, so you're going to do that stuff and you're going to thank the fans and you're going to do, the appreciation kind of stuff. But boy, did it feel awkward. It felt absolutely awkward with an 8-0 game, having the manager come out and tip his cap to the crowd because, again, nobody was with it in the moment. Also, I kind of have to question if the Diamondbacks jinx themselves with their email offer. Now, I come from a long time ago. I'm an old person, as I've tried to warn you guys about on this show quite often, but and that's credit to everybody that still calls me a young man and says nice things about me. Like when I say I have a daughter in high school, they're like, nah, you're too old to have a daughter in high school, Randall Gritchick. I'll never forget when you people say those nice things about me, not looking nearly as old as I feel every single morning when I wake up. But when it comes to my past, I remember a time when you had to buy World Series tickets after the fact, after they made it, right? There would be a thing about them going there. It would be a pre-sale. And I don't know if a pre-sale is the greatest idea when you're still not really close to actually making the playoffs. So again, I don't know if the Diamondbacks jinxed themselves with that pre-sale offer or not. But anyway.
Should I still grab this, Derek?
No, you're good. It's fine. I mean, I think most of you have gotten it. I think Advantage members, Damon, had like a whole like email sent to them about the about like Advantage members needing to buy like the playoff package and such. And even that was awkward because I saw people online complaining about them like wanting to pay for like all the tickets up front and then they'll refund you for the ones that you don't use and stuff. And I don't like any of that. I don't like any of this. And I think all of it is putting far too much of the jinx out there for the universe. But we have not given out our King Snake for this game. And I thought it would be a great time to do something hilarious once again and not give it to anybody because nobody deserved it. But I'm going to give it to somebody. I'm going to give it to you guys. I'm giving it to you, the fans, for enduring that horror show. Horror show? Horror show.
You pick. Choose your fighter.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
This is Derek's new milk.
Thank you, the fans.
I don't like horror movies.
Well, I mean, honestly, like I know that there are people that casually watch this team. I've had we all have those annoying friends who right now are trying to get into the team, right? They're like, hey, how are the Diamondbacks doing? I heard it's the end of the season. Are they going to make it or not? And you're like, shut up. You haven't been there. You haven't experienced the trauma that we've experienced. You haven't experienced the losses that we've experienced, both physically and metaphorically and emotionally. You haven't experienced any of this. You're going to show up now with 6-7 games left in the season and try to hop on the bandwagon. Sorry, this wagon is full, sir. Well, it's not really full, but we're not accepting any new customers, right? So I appreciate all of you because all of you guys have been here throughout this entire season, throughout this terrible debacle that was 2025. And considering you guys watched maybe not all 162 games. I don't think I even watched all 162 games, but most of this 162 game season, you guys deserve it because you guys are awesome. And just on a personal level, I know we talk about building PHNX in this community, but I can't tell you how much it means to me for Damon and I to have helped build this Diamondbacks community up from being, basically nothing at one time, very difficult community to find, fellow Diamondbacks fans to what we are now, which is a whole bunch of people that call themselves some player's name enthusiast on Twitter, and they all scream about Torey Lovullo needing to be fired in unison. So, hey, there's something we all came together on this season, or at least you guys did. I'm not part of that. I'm not throwing myself in there. As you know, Damon and I have dinner at Tory's house every Sunday, and I don't want to mess that up. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to take a break right now. And on the other side of this break, we are going to take a look at the unfortunate numbers from this entire series. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Pure Edibles was made for a day like this, wasn't it? Pure Edibles was founded right here in Arizona, and they offer a wide variety of candies with a wide variety of strains. They don't just make gummies. They have hard candies, chews. They have their kicks, which are like Starburst. They also have chill gummies, sleep gummies. They have uplifting gummies that can help improve your mood, which is something that Damon and I need an entire case of right now after this game that we watched. They also have a brand new collab with Mother Road Brewery up in Flagstaff, Arizona. And of course, who says no to happy hour being all the time? I love Pure Edibles. I also love the wonderful Tower Station IPA that Mother Road Brewery produces. And of course, these two things come together now with a new collaboration. Noble Road presents Tower Station IPA all in one. It's a brand new offering that captures the crisp, citrus, and piney hops of Arizona's favorite IPA. And let me tell you, it is delicious. It's no pouring, no wasting, just good tasting high whenever you want it. And if you're in Arizona, swing by select local dispensaries and grab your Tower Station all-in-one from Noble Road. Cheers to happy hour all day, every day. And also go find yourself some Pure Edibles from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And another thing is I know that the temperature is cooling down, and that is great for all of us. Hoodie season is almost here. I'm ditching these shirts after today. This is the last time you're going to see me in a Roosevelt shirt for the next 4 months. And it's time to cool down, but that doesn't mean you still don't want to extend your outdoor living space and block out the sun, which you can do with our friends at All Pro Shade Concepts. They are the finest in the valley to do so. It's not just a motorized awning, it's a motorized piece of artwork that can not only make your house look cool, but also functional. by adding and extending your outdoor living space. Check out all that they have to offer. They have hundreds of designs and colors to choose from to match any home. They can also get your HOA approval and make sure that everything they're doing is on the up and up. Also, they can add remote controls, LED lights, and all sorts of cool accessories to your motorized awning. They also offer roll-down patio shades that can help block the sun, keep your patio or your home up to 20 degrees cooler. So check them out. They've been in business for 20 years in the Valley. They are voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. They are licensed, bonded, and insured, and they're ready to help you. Call them at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. Well, Damon, let's take a look at the count presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union because these numbers kind of make me sad. Of course, the Dodgers outscored the Diamondbacks. It should be 17. Did they score runs in this game? It should be 17-9. The Dodgers out-hit the Diamondbacks 6-1 in home runs. No home run. The Diamondbacks just had the one home run in game 1. Runners in scoring position. Diamondbacks were 4 for 21 in the series. Meanwhile, the Dodgers 5 for 18 in the series. So Diamondbacks did not take advantage of the few opportunities they truly had, and they had a lot of them. Starting pitching ERA, there it is. Ugly. Dodgers 0.50. 1 earned run, 18 innings pitched. Starting pitching ERA for the Diamondbacks, 4.85. Not terrible, but basically probably close to what their starting pitching is on the season, right? So the Diamondbacks were themselves, at least starting pitching-wise here. But of course, that's not to discredit them. I mean, they still got good performances and quality starts from Ryan Nelson and Zach Gallen, from Brandon Pfaadt. So this is not terrible, but mostly today's weird, whatever you want to call this game, bullpen game, impact this quite a bit. Dodgers relief pitching ERA 6.75. That's what the Diamondbacks were able to exploit in games 1 and games 2. And then the relief pitching ERA 3.94 there for the Diamondbacks. So believe it or not a terrible ERA considering that they allowed 5 earned runs today. Those 5 earned runs were over 8 innings. Meanwhile, just 2 earned runs allowed in this series prior to today's game. So it's terrible. It's awful. It's over now.
Look at the home runs.
6-1.
That'll do it.
I mean, honestly, it feels like the Dodgers had way more than 6 in this series, to be fair. So the Diamondbacks did a good job. Feels like
Andy Pages hit like 20.
Yeah, they did a good job of keeping themselves in the game until in this entire series, until Nabil Crismatt's, inning there. So, and that's unfortunate. And of course, we didn't get a chance to speak to Nabil after the game, but I still defend that man because I think that given the circumstances and what he was asked to do for this team, he was excellent. And it's unfortunate that his final outing of the season goes the way it did. But let's see how this loss impacts the Diamondbacks on the wildcard standings. Here's the drunken orgy of violence known as the National League wildcard race. Cubs and Padres there have already clinched their spots. They are 89-69 and 87-72. And of course, the Cubs could still theoretically lose that top spot, and that changes things significantly in that series between those two teams. So Padres definitely have something to play for, at least in game 1. Hopefully the Diamondbacks can take that game and then make the Padres not have anything to play for the rest of the season. But they sit at 1.5 games back from the Mets, who right now are 81-77. The Reds, they won today in just heartbreaking fashion for us to watch. They were up 2-1 late in that game, Damon, and we watched live as the Reds robbed the Pirates of the game-tying home run in the 9th inning. And that clip's everywhere on YouTube right now, or on the Twitter and the socials.
You just can't make stuff like this up.
You really can't. In that moment, that's where, I know these moments happen all the time, and I try to be a man of science, Damon. I try to live in reality and not be like, oh, the vibes, oh, the magic is happening. Magic isn't a real thing, kids. Hate to break it to you, but magic is happening for the Reds. And it feels like, at least with what's happening to the Mets, something's happening for someone. I was hoping it was us, but it might just be happening for the Reds. And that sucks because it's not us. But again, I just want it to be anybody but the Mets. I want the Mets to continue to fail. And I want somebody else to get that playoff spot because they, with the way that they have played, don't deserve it. And I want someone to come in and take that from them. I wish it was the Diamondbacks. Their tragic number is now down to 2, which means pretty much any combination of Diamondbacks losses and Reds and Mets wins ends it for them. Statistically ends their season. And that's not great. We don't love that. But again, at this point, I think everybody is like, this Diamondback season reminds me of one thing, Damon. And that was, I visited Six Flags in California on a weekday during like the spring. And I was one of maybe 50 people in this theme park on this day.
Is the most Derek start to a story
it really
probably ever.
I was there with my daughter. I was there with my wife. We were there because we had season passes to the water park here in town that Six Flags now owns. And we found out that our water park passes got us season passes to go to the actual theme park in California. So we stopped in on a weekday. We were having a good time, but we were also laughing about how much of a ghost town this theme park was. And at one point we went to the smaller rides for kids because my daughter was younger at the time. They put us on a roller coaster, little down and back, little fun guy. And they just kind of let us keep going around. And the guy got to a point where he would stop and ask if we wanted to go, but then stopped doing that. And he would just kind of look and kind of give me a thumbs up if we wanted to keep going. I was having a great time. I was like thumbs up all around. What I wasn't paying attention to was the terrible time that my small child in between me and my wife was having. She wanted to get off this roller coaster so bad. And that is the metaphor I'm trying to make for the 2025 season.
And where do you fit in?
I feel like it's fun. I feel like we keep going around. I feel like we just are, when do we get off this thing? I'm kind of sick of the ups and downs. I'm getting a little nauseous, and that's how I feel after today's loss. I feel like I'm ready for one way or another for this to be over, because this season has been, as I said earlier, very emotionally draining on all of us as fans. And I think that, again, it's just such a classic way to cap off the season for this team to have given us all hope, emboldened us with the idea that we could make the postseason and potentially go on a magical run in 2023, despite all of the hiccups, all of the bad decisions, all of the injuries, all of the trades, everything that's happened to this team. We were somehow going to still reach the promised land and make the playoffs, and they're going to fall like one game short of that goal. And again, it's just a fitting end to everything that we've experienced this year. As depressing as that is, it is what the 2025 season has been. So we're going to take a quick break, and I hope to maybe, I'm probably not going to make you any happier on the other side of this break, but we're going to talk about why there's no 100-win teams in baseball for the second consecutive year and why that's a good thing. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Dbacks show. Well, as Damon said, don't go to one of those other terrible sports retail shops and deal with all the Dodger gear that's going to be out in preparation for the postseason run. Go to Rally House.
It was disgusting.
It's disgusting. Go to Rally House instead. It is the go-to spot for local Arizona sports gear for your sports day, your sports game day vibe. You're going out there tonight for a Cardinals game. Make sure to stop by Rally House and get yourself. Has the Cardinals game started yet? I don't know. At times I have to miss football because of this podcast. I do. I'm excited to get out there and watch the Cardinals do their thing, but I don't have enough Cardinals gear. I need that new jersey, Damon. The field looks sick. The helmet looks sick. I want all of that gear, just like I wanted all the Serpientes stuff. And Rally House has you covered. They carry only Arizona sports teams too. They have shop locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. So do not miss out. Every time you go to a Rally House, you're going to find something new, unique, and that matches your game day vibe. So find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. And of course, everyone needs a checking account, and Mountain America Credit Union wants you to have the checking account with built-in benefits. That is Mountain America's My Style checking account that has perks just for you. Checking accounts usually just take your money away. My Style checking account wants to give you money back, and they want to save you on all sorts of deals, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access. identity protection, and more. They have discounts on loan rates, and they also have offers on travel and events. And that's just some of the benefits with the MyStyle checking account. Make MyStyle for your lifestyle. Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/MyStyle to apply. They are insured by NCUA. Membership is required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. Well, Damon, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. As far as our schedule goes, we are open. We do have a post-game show tomorrow, so we will be back after Game 1 of the San Diego Padres, and we might be finally laying to rest this 2025 season officially. But if the Diamondbacks somehow find a way to keep winning, we will keep bringing you shows throughout this weekend. So make sure to keep it locked right here. Keep it locked to our Twitter account. If you don't already follow us, we'll always make our announcements there. And if you are not a diehard member, join the Discord, because you guys can always bully me into doing shows whenever you want to. It's one of the many benefits of being a PHNX diehard. But one thing that did get announced today, I guess based on the Brewers losing, was that it is official. There will be no 100-win teams in baseball this season, which is crazy considering what the Brewers' record was at one point, and also crazy considering the expectations for some of these teams that did not come even close to that mark. There's a lot of competitive races still going on, including that thing that's going on with the Tigers and the Guardians over there in the AL. And again, the AL far more competitive. Their wildcard teams are all like 10 games above 500. Meanwhile, here there shouldn't even be a wildcard race. The Mets should be right up there with the Padres and the Cubs based on what their record was before they started to tumble. And honestly, with the record of the Reds, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and now even the Marlins, none of us should have even been close. But thanks to them being awful, and thanks to there being a lot of parity in baseball, this stayed fun. It stayed fun for all of us as Diamondbacks fans, and I think that's what we all wanted. I do think that it started to get old hearing about playing relevant games here the final week of the season. It's like, yeah, great, we're playing relevant games. Let's start winning relevant games, and let's start getting ourselves into the playoffs. But there's something to be said about a team that was 10 games out from the wild card on August 1st, making this kind of leap to make up ground and to, put themselves back in the race. So I overall think that this was an incredible season of baseball to watch as a whole. I think there's been a lot of fun surprises. I think there's been a lot of stars made this season. I think a lot of guys have been, again, this is a sign of that, is how this is now 2 consecutive years where Major League Baseball didn't have a 100-win team. The last time there were no 100-win teams in back-to-back seasons was back in 2013, 2014. So it's been over 10 years, or been 10 years basically, since the last time there were no 100 teams in baseball. Parity, Damon, good for baseball. It's always good to have teams all kind of clustered together, and it just
not if you ask Rob Manfred. He would prefer it's Yankees Dodgers every year. In fact, that's the goal.
I knew you were going to somehow take it in that direction. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the problem is that, there's teams like the Brewers, right? Why are the Brewers so good? What business do they have being like the best team in baseball? And even the Tigers, right? But that is what's great about baseball, is that you always, no matter how much you expect it to be the Yankees and the Dodgers every year. Now,
it hardly ever happens that way.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if it ends up the Dodgers and the Yankees again in the World Series, then I'm going to start yelling for collusion with you, Damon. But
anyone but the Dodgers, man.
Anyone but the Dodgers, anyone but the Yankees. Like I said, that's how I feel about the Mets.
I'm not even greedy like that.
Let's get the Mets out of there.
I don't care about the Yankees. I don't. Just anyone but the Dodgers. I'm asking for one thing. Derek, you can go and ask for 2. But I'm only asking for one thing as I look up to the heavens. Please, anyone but the Dodgers.
Yeah. By the way, I agree with Sean. We are now a Mariners podcast going forward once the season officially ends. I just want to make everybody aware of that. I know that Valley House obviously won't have Mariners gear, so I want you guys to prepare. You'll probably have to order some stuff online from a different retailer, maybe go to their shop directly. But we're still rooting for Josh Naylor and Geno Suarez until the end of time.
We're about to chameleon style morph into about 10 different podcasts here in the postseason as we root for every team that plays against one of our enemies. The Phillies, I hope they lose. Whoever plays the Phillies is my second new favorite team.
Down.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we appreciate you guys. Like I said, you guys have been incredible. We appreciate you sticking with us all season long. Unless something changes, we're not going anywhere. We'll still be here 5 days a week. We'll just be at noon. So if you can join us live, that's cool. If you can't, let us know. We're always willing to adapt. So if a different time works for you guys, we're always willing to try some things out, especially once we start going to those regular weekly shows. We're also going to have post-game shows and watch-alongs for the postseason, despite if the Diamondbacks are in there or not, because me and Damon aren't going to stop watching baseball just because the Diamondbacks go away. So make sure to keep it locked right here. We are not going to root for any other team besides the Mariners, though. We'll do that, but nobody else. And then we'll do this together as a family. So again, we thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with another post-game show, so make sure to join us for that. Until then, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. He's at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. We are at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Try to have a wonderful evening. Get some sleep. We got another one tomorrow. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you just pitch Zach Gallen in the game instead of going to a bullpen game.
We all silly like the mayor.